Hey everyone, welcome to your Learn Lab. I'm Seema, and if you're an IGNOU student, you're in the right place. Here we create videos on different IGNOU courses to help you ace your exams. So hit subscribe and join me on this learning journey. In today's video, we're going to take a brief look at Edmund Spenser's Amoretti, a remarkable sonnet sequence that offers insights into Renaissance ideals, poetic form, and the ethics of love. If you're preparing for the MEG1 exam, this is an essential topic. Spenser's work stands apart from other English sonnetteers like Sidney and Shakespeare in the way it blends personal love with Protestant morality. In this video, we explored the Amoretti through 5 lenses: the sonnet form, the historical roots of the courtly love tradition, Spenser's poetic transformation of that model, his personal context, and the exam-relevant insights you should take away. Let's start with the sonnet. A sonnet is a highly stylized 14-line lyric, and it was ideal for articulating complex inner emotion. Developed in Italy and popularized by Petrarch, the sonnet structure allowed the poets to present tension, resolution, and emotional progression. Spenser's interlinked rhyme scheme, ABAB, BCBC, CDCD, and EE, is not just a technical innovation. It reflects emotional continuity and thematic cohesion across his sonnets. Notably, the form also embodies what Castiglione calls sprezzatura, a courtly ideal of effortless grace and moderation. The sonnet disciplines passion, forcing the poet to express intense emotion with formal control, a skill valued by Renaissance courtiers. For your exam, remember that form is inseparable from meaning. Spenser uses this chained rhyme to dramatize the evolving journey of love. Now, moving on to courtly love. Courtly love was more than a poetic theme. It was a medieval ideology of love shaped by feudal society and Catholic imagery. Rooted in the 11th century troubadour tradition, it cast the beloved as a distant, quasi-divine lady and the male lover as a devoted, often frustrated servant. Petrarch's Laura in the Canzoniere epitomizes this. She is beautiful, silent, unreachable. These poems express a paradox: intense sensual longing masked by spiritual devotion. For your IGNOU exam, remember this tradition also drew on 2 key influences: the Catholic image of Virgin Mary, which placed women on a pedestal of moral purity, and feudal marriage alliances, which often left noble women emotionally isolated. This made them figures of both power and fantasy. The language of courtly love is filled with contradictions: adultery and fidelity, idealization and eroticism, a structure well explained by C.S. Lewis in The Allegory of Love. Spenser inherits this model, but will soon break away from its paradoxes. Unlike Petrarch or Sidney, Spenser writes about a real woman, Elizabeth Boyle. This personal context transforms the poetic model. Instead of endless longing, Spenser's sequence ends in mutuality and joy. The sequence follows a narrative arc. Early sonnets express rejection and confusion. Middle sonnets mark progress and understanding, and later sonnets culminate in acceptance and union. This shift has deep ethical implications. In Protestant England, marriage was seen as the proper outlet for love and desire. Spenser aligns his sonnets with this ideal, celebrating love not as an unattainable but as spiritually fulfilling and morally anchored. This redefinition elevates the beloved not through unattainability but through her capacity to reciprocate and moralize love, a far cry from the unreachable Petrarchan mistress. Spenser reshapes love into a moral experience grounded in Protestant ideals. He moves away from the Catholic tendency to idealize virginity and the Virgin Mary archetype. Instead, Spenser's beloved is human. Her virtue lies not in distance but in her alignment with the divine order. In Sonnet 77, the beloved's body is likened to Eden, a paradise not forbidden, but cultivated through mutual love. This synthesis of desire and virtue draws on classical sources as well. The Latin poet Ovid, who described the lover as enslaved by passion, deeply influenced courtly love poetry. Spenser echoes Ovid's themes but corrects their excesses by presenting marriage as the moral resolution. This Protestant reframing is vital for your analysis. Love in Amoretti is not a torment, but a redemptive and celebratory force. Your IGNOU exams may ask for sonnet-specific interpretation or broader thematic essays. To prepare, know the sequence's emotional arc. Use examples. In Sonnet 34, the storm-tossed ship represents lost direction in love. Sonnet 67 reverses the typical hunting metaphor, the dear beloved returns willingly. Sonnet 77 frames love as paradise regained. Identify how Spenser challenges Petrarchan despair with hope, restraint with fulfillment, and emotional distance with spiritual closeness. Integrate cultural context. Contrast the Catholic Marian tradition with Protestant views on marriage and desire. To sum up, Spenser's Amoretti reimagines the courtly sonnet not as a lament, but as a moral journey. He uses poetic form to embody emotional moderation, fuses classical and Christian influences, and replaces abstract longing with real love grounded in marriage. In our next video, we'll explain the three pivotal sonnets: Sonnet 34, Emotional Confusion; Sonnet 67, Voluntary Return; and Sonnet 77, The Sacred Eroticism. Each reveals Spenser's poetic depth and ideological stance. Thank you for watching. All the best for your exam. Do add your comments to let me know how you found it. So, if you found this video helpful and would like to learn more, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Your Learn Lab. See you in the next one. Until then, happy learning.